What's up, guys? It's Missy. I am back with another SimCity Buildit video, and today we're going to talk about the contest of mayors, but I want everybody to pay very close attention because I think this video can really help some of you guys out. I have been over here ready to pull my hair out because of people just not understanding, and I'm trying to figure out what level of miscommunication is there that is causing this, right? So I'm trying to figure out why you're picking the tasks that you're picking because they make no sense to me. So as most of you guys know, as I've said before, there have been some changes made to the game in the past couple of months. Now, a lot of my CoM videos have a lot of really good information in them, minus the few changes that the game has made, which is why I've put out update videos, okay? So I can see why some people may get confused if they watch only an old video and they don't watch an update video. So that is what this video is going to be. This is the latest updates that you need to know to win Mega every week, okay? So for those of you who don't believe me, or, maybe you think I'm crazy or whatever, if you type in SimCity Buildit MissyAnne to Facebook, if you join our group, you will see several people every single week posting their winnings, right? Posting, thank you, your technique works, I've won Mega, this many times because of your help, da-da-da-da-da. So I have proof that my technique works, okay? Now, let's get into the how to make my technique work for you. I have 3 people in my CoM training course. Now, where my frustration comes into place is not when people ask questions. It's not when people get things wrong. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care who you are, you're going to get shit wrong. That's just how it's going to be. Nobody gets it right off the bat. No matter how many of my videos you watch, you need training, okay? You need time, practice. You have to go through several different scenarios for you to understand how to implement them, okay? And essentially what you're doing is it's a process of elimination. Now, I'm over here wondering why a majority of people are just not understanding. And it's not like this stuff is, super hard stuff that they're not understanding. It's the stuff that they should be understanding. And so I'm sitting here and I'm looking at one of the guys in my CoM training course, and I want to show you guys what he did, and then I'm going to explain to you where it clicked for me as to what he was doing wrong and how I can help so many other people. So this is the beginning of his task list for this week. As you can see, he has a total of 60 assignments. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's there. He's a level 24 player, meaning he has a total of 40 factory slots available to him. This is what we call setting the scene. You need to know this information in order to make the correct selection. You can't possibly make the correct selection without knowing this information. So if you don't know what league they're in, right there, you can't tell them what they should or should not do, okay? That is very important. Now, that you need to ask yourself because you really shouldn't be giving advice until you know what you're doing, right? So when you're looking at your list, that is something that's very important. Now, if you've picked up a copy of my Contest of Mayors guide, you know that that's important, right? You know that there are certain tasks that you do not touch if you are in the lower leagues or if you're in Mega, So if you don't know that by now, then what happens? You get to Mega and you touch the wrong task. What is one task that we never touch in the Mega League? Everybody who's seen my Contest of Mayors videos should know this one. Just name one out of the many that you would never touch under any circumstances in the Mega League. Well, okay, there is one circumstance for one of them. Okay, War Booster is one of them you would never touch under any circumstance in the Mega League. Why? It's always worth 1,000 points. It's really just, it's not a good task, okay? Now, let's say the simoleons, earn simoleons task. When is it appropriate to even think of touching this task? when it's the very last couple assignments and it's worth higher points than anything else on the list, and you need points so badly that you're willing to sacrifice a premium to get those 400 points. It's rare that these instances would occur, okay? So if it's, let's say, 55 tasks into Mega, why would you touch the simoleons task? Why? You wouldn't, right? Let's say you're in Neighborhood League. Absolutely you would. It's a quick, fast, easy task. You can get points on it. It doesn't cost you anything. So the league that you're in is going to have a huge impact on the choice that you make, right? Okay, that being said, you've heard me say this. We've talked about this in my videos. This is not something that, oh, wow, I never heard that before. You should have heard me say this like 3 million times. So somebody enters my CoM training course, and we're 50 tasks into Mega, and this person picks an Earn Simoleons task. And I'm over here just like, why? Why? Where is the logic in that? Why would you pick that over this, right? And I'm not talking about this person in particular that's on my screen. I'm saying that somebody, and this happens all the time. And I start to wonder if people are even listening to me, like truthfully, because the shit that they're doing wrong is stuff that doesn't make sense to me. It's stuff that it literally is so bad. It's gotten to the point where I could literally, no joke, I could make a video. And at the beginning of the video, I could say that the sky is blue every single video. And somebody somehow, somewhere would never heard that and been like, is the sky green? Like, it's gotten to be that ridiculous. So if you're not going to listen to what I have to say, don't waste my time. That's how I feel about it, okay? I will teach you all day long. I will help you. I want to see you guys win. And, you know, middle finger up to EA every time you win. That would be great. But I am not going to sit here and make 300 videos repeating myself so somebody can come up to me and be like, hey, I didn't hear anything you said. I've watched all your videos, and I'm going to ask a question that makes no sense to you right now because I'm not listening to you. Okay? There's something that we do as humans, and it's kind of like, anybody here look at the back of a vitamin water bottle, and you notice that all the words are scrambled up, and you can read it because the first and last letter in that word is correct. That's why. We as humans, we don't look at the whole word, right? We just pick up what we assume that it is. So if you put all of the letters that go into one word, and you make the beginning and the end of that word match, you can add numbers, you can, just as long as it looks familiar, right? It's really a quite interesting experiment that they did. And it's true. And that's what people are doing. They are speed reading, in a sense. They are looking over what I'm saying. They're assuming they've heard everything that I've said, but they're really not listening to what I've said. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about here in just a couple of minutes. So this is the beginning of his week. So what is the first selection that you would make knowing that he's a level 24 player, he's in Mega, okay? Well, right off the get-go, we already know what we're going to do. The upgrade war disaster, okay? This is why you should be launching attacks and getting those cards and stacking those keys so that when you get a task like this, you can bank in on it right away. So that is the selection that he made right off the get-go. That was a correct choice, okay? Now we are presented with this. This is the top of his list. He's got keys for 1,200, so we know we're not touching that. Then he has, hang on just a second here. Trying to find my coffee card. Okay, there we go. What day is it? Thursday. Okay. Okay, so then he has expand city area for 2,000, which I don't know if he has the dozer to do that or not. I don't assume that he does. Okay. So then he has a launch monster for 2,000. I don't know if the monster's there or not. Then he has the 1,600 shoes, which he should have, the moment he opened up his list, he should have had those prepped immediately. He should have started them. If they weren't already prepped, he should have immediately, and what he should have done, and pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. Let's say that he had prepped caps, okay? What is the correct choice out of what I'm about to say? Pay attention now. Should he clear all the caps out and put all of the shoes in queue? Or should he clear the cap out one at a time, using the arrows and placing one shoe down at a time? What is the correct choice? Number 2. But how many people would not do that? How many people here clear all the caps out, or let's say they didn't have anything making, and they automatically place all the shoes down? Okay, meaning that if shoes, let's say that shoes was not the correct choice here, and he had something else to do, but he was prepping the shoes, and then caps came up for more money than shoes, or for more points than shoes. Now he had cleared all of the caps out, right? Now he has to wait for all these shoes to finish or start a token. So you never clear out the whole queue. And that is something that a lot of people do. They think, oh, it won't happen. Oh, it won't be a problem. And it does. And it's a waste of tokens. It's a waste of materials. It's a waste of time. And it ends up causing you to make bad choices. Because now, instead of you sacrificing one shoe and one cap to get back on track, now you have to sacrifice a whole line of materials. Or you have to say, screw it, I'll take the 400 points difference, or whatever the case may be. Which that is where you start to make bad choices. If you do things the correct way, even if they don't seem most efficient at the time, they really are, okay? So what he should do is whatever item he had prepped, which I'm going to go ahead and say he didn't have anything prepped, but he better have. Well, whatever it was, he didn't have shoes prepped, okay? So let's say that he had caps prepped. He needs to take one cap out and put one shoe in its place. That's it. That'll be good for an hour, for a while, till he can figure out what's going on, if he needs to start a token and so forth. That should have been done before he even did the upgrade task, okay? He should have started prepping the shoes. Now, we have an Earn Simoleons task at 1425. We already know that that's going to be sitting there for the rest of the contest, okay? Now, we have a 1,400 sugar, okay? Which normally I would tell somebody to go ahead and prep the sugar, but being how I don't know what time of day it is for him, if it's morning, if it's night, if it's whatever. Because he has so many other premiums, rotatable premiums on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and say to hold off on prepping the sugar just in case he gets a different factory task worth more points. Because realistically, you don't want to have to clear that sugar out. For 1,400, it opens up the possibility of getting a sugar task again, and it's really low. So it's not just the points value here that we're looking at. We're also looking at what possibilities it opens up and what it allows to happen if you clear it. Right now, we're not in a position at all where we would need to clear that and open up that realm of possibility. So right now, I'm going to say hold off on prepping sugar. Okay, now he has deliveries to Tokyo for 1,000, launch Club Wars for 1,000, launch disasters for 1,000. All of these are rotatable premiums, okay? This should be done during rotation. Now, this is right where I think everybody's having problems, okay? And it didn't click with me until now what people are doing wrong. They're taking what they think could happen because it's premium, and they're focusing on that all of the time. And that is causing their average to drop. You want to take into consideration points values, okay? So what ends up happening is people focus on, is it premium, is it non-premium? Right? But what you need to focus on as well is if you look at a list, you'll notice a pattern. At the bottom of the list, there's usually a task worth 800 points. Between 1 and 3 tasks worth right around 800, 700, 900 points. Okay? Then as you work your way up the list, you'll start to see tasks worth about 1,000, then about midway, and then all the way up to 2,000, 3,000. So you have a mixture of everything. Okay. Now, at the beginning of your list, you're going to kind of analyze everything. A task analysis. You're going to look at everything and you're just going to see what it is that you have. Now, I have a girl in my CoM training course, and I was going to use her task list as an example because it is a perfect example of what it is I'm talking about here. And what I'm saying is you have tasks that you can do, and then you have rotatable tasks, okay? What does this mean? This means that right now, if you were to do these lower tasks, you lower your points values that you're banking in. You lower the possibility of getting high value tasks. If you did the launch one disaster, sure, you could get a higher task. You could. But that's not rotatable right now. It doesn't need to be done right now. And the reason why, now normally, and this is one of the changes that has been made, back when I made my original CoM videos, the launch 3 disaster used to happen all the time, okay? And so every moment that you allowed a launch 1 to sit there, you blocked the possibility of another one appearing in its place, right? Well, that has since changed. So even though, yes, it's still true, they lowered the amount of possibility of the launch 2 or 3 appearing. So what happens is people are clearing this task more frequently because they're like, okay, I need to open up that possibility. And then what happens is they get either a launch 1 back or they get something totally garbage, right? And so then they clear it again and again and again. And next thing you know, they've done like 10 launch tasks worth 1,000 points. And so I've been telling people to be very careful with that task, right? So yes, you still want to keep in mind that that is a possibility that it could open up at 3K VU. But just know that it more than likely won't, okay? It has a less chance of doing so. So anytime that you get the opportunity to open up something else, it's probably a good idea that you do so. Now, why would we choose shoes over Club Wars? Or why would we choose shoes over deliveries to Tokyo under these circumstances? Why? Well, because they're still premium. They're holding a production place, and they're holding the points values up there. Meaning, we want to be able to bank in as many points with the least amount of tasks as possible. So one person may think, okay, but every minute that I allow that Tokyo delivery to sit there, I don't allow for the possibility of it popping up. But the problem is if you clear it now with all these other high value tasks sitting up at the top of the list, you lower the possibility of it popping up. You have too many tasks worth 2,000 points right now to be clearing and rotating. These are rotating tasks. These are tasks that you look at and say, okay, I know now that when I have a bunch of non-premiums, a bunch of low non-premiums, these are going to be my rotatable tasks. So usually what happens is when you look at a list, you're look at your whole list and then cross off anything that you know you won't do. Cross off all the low non-premiums, like let's say you had a 1K keys and a 1,200 VU and like right around those areas. And let's say you had like an 800 epic and you had an 1,100 coins, and then let's say you've got 4 upgrades worth 1,000 points. Right there, you have a bunch of low non-premiums allowing the game to give you higher premiums because all of your lower task values are being held by non-premiums. That is what we're trying to do here, okay? And right now, you have all premiums at a lower value. You see what I'm saying? So, essentially, at the beginning of the contest, they're giving you a random throw, okay? They're just throwing random tasks at you. Now, it's your job to pick the right ones so that what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the most points at the same time that you're trying to make it to where, okay, out of all of these tasks, I want to do the ones worth the most points as possible that open up the possibility of getting the highest points as possible into the future. But more importantly, you're setting yourself up so that you can get your task list in order. What you want to do, what you want to have happen is you want to have all of your, essentially what you're doing is you're flipping this around, okay? Right now, what you're flipping it around, you are rotating out premiums, either low premiums, which would be stuff like the VU disaster, for high premiums. That's usually during rotation, okay? So let's say that you, right now, that he has a list. Does it look like he has a really good list for Mega? Right now he has a lot of options, which means he has more thinking to do, okay? That's a good thing to have a lot of options, right? As you progress through the contest, you're going to have less options. You're going to slowly start to see, as you do your task assessments, that you have less options, less options, less options as you start to rotate your tasks correctly. What's happening here is you're taking a list, and let's just say hypothetically, okay? Let's just say that you're allowed 2 3K tasks, 4 tasks worth 2,000 points, and the rest are below 2,000 points. Do you want premiums of a low points value? No. You want premiums on the higher end of things. So what you're doing is you're trying to rotate them out in the right order to get the non-premiums down here in the 1,000s. How are you going to do that? You're not going to do it if you do your premiums if he was to do his premiums now, if he was to pick the Tokyo, the Attack Club Wars, and so forth, he's wasting those rotations, those opportunities, because right now he has too many tasks worth 2,000 points. The odds of it giving him something good is way down on the list. Doesn't mean it's impossible. He could easily do one of them and get a 3,000 point task. But that's not the point. The point is, realistically, he has to clear these, right? So why would you wait till later to clear these? You wouldn't. So going further in, he does his upgrade, and he picks repair VU for 1,600. Why? I don't know. I am honestly looking at this going, why? I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know why out of everything in that list he picked repair for VU. So here's my question. Why didn't he pick the shoes? It's a premium. It's a production. Why is he picking VU over shoes, especially when VU is worth less than 2,000 points? He should have left it sit. The only time you really do VU or keys is when you either need fast, quick, easy points, or if they're worth 2,000 points or higher, because they're holding that placement, like what we just discussed. If you could only have so many tasks worth a certain amount of points, you know, if you could only have a certain amount of tasks worth 1,700 and above, you don't want it being held for keys and repair. Keys and repair are almost always going to be in your list. Do you want them there with 2K, or do you want them there with a lower points value? You would rather have them there with a lower points value because they're not premium, okay? The highest that they'll be is 2,400, and how often does that happen? Not very often. Most of the time, you get the 1,600 or the 1,200. You don't normally get the 2,000. When you do, you get it once, which is why you're going to clear it and hold your average, which is great. But when it comes back, it more than likely will come back of a lower points value. And when it does, just leave it sit. Okay? Otherwise, now he has 400 points he has to make up, but now he hasn't even opened up the possibility of getting a premium. Right? He just opened up the possibility of getting the VU repair, which it will come back. Hopefully, you know, this time it comes back worth 2,400 so that he can make up for the points that he lost. But I doubt it. Okay, it'll probably come back worth 2,000, which will just keep him at his average, which he's still 400 points down now. And then when he does it again, more than likely it'll come back of a lower points value, or it'll throw him in for a loop he can't afford to do. So, let's see what happens. I don't know. Now, he has the launch disaster on the monster. I don't know. I don't know if the monster's there or not. If the monster was there, hang on. If the monster was there, that would have been the correct choice, right? The monster is on a time limit. It's worth 2,000 points, meaning it's holding that 2,000 points value, so it needs to get done. It's taking up a placement in his list. My guess is he's going to tell me the monster wasn't there, okay? So that would mean that he would move down the list and go to the shoes, which he did not do. Okay, so after he does the repair, he gets a launch one or he gets minerals for 1530, okay? And he goes to the bottom of his list and he does the VU for 1. I don't know why. Okay, because he's assuming, after I talked to him, he's assuming that he's doing that because he's opening up the possibility of getting a 3K VU. Now, as I've discussed in several of my newer videos, that doesn't happen as much. We just talked about that. Even if it didn't, okay? Even so, he had better options to choose, like the minerals and the shoes, okay? The launch one, essentially what you're doing is you're not picking these right away because you have so many other high tasks sitting there. You can't afford to pick those right now, okay? So the minerals would have been the correct choice. Now, it is a factory task, right? So there's that, but it's a quick factory task. He can do that one in an hour, meaning that'll give him just enough time to start locating some glue if he needs it or whatever, textiles, to get those shoes going, right? But he does the launch one, and I'm going to go ahead and jump out on a limb here and even say that he didn't even prep the minerals or the shoes. That's my guess. He probably didn't prep either one, and he picked the wrong task. So now he's 3 tasks in, okay? So he should have 6,000 points, and he had a 3K task, mind you. So out of 3 tasks, he should be at 6,000 points if he was running a 2K average. Right now, he has 4,600 points, so he is way down on his average, just in those 3 tasks alone. And keeping in mind that one of the tasks was worth 3,000 points, so it made up for the points lost on the launch 1 VU, right? So, I mean, he's really hurting himself here already. He's already off to a terrible start with a great list. I mean, not the best list, but he had a pretty good start. You know, he had a 3K task, he had some premiums, and he screwed it up. Now, I'm trying to understand what he's doing wrong so that I can better help him and everybody else. And that's all I can think of is that people are thinking, premium, get this premium opened up, get this premium opened up. You have to wait until you're in rotation. Rotation is when you have like 3 tasks that are rotatable. Okay, when you do a task assessment and you've got like 3 tasks. Now that normally happens when your list is set up correctly. So you'll have 3 main tasks that you can rotate at a time. Okay, that's rotation. Right now, he's got a lot of options. And this seems to be when people screw up the most. And I'm going to show you guys another girl's task list here in just a minute. So then he does launch 1 Club Wars. Launch 1 attack for the wars. I don't know why. Why didn't he do the minerals? Now, if you look very closely, what is below that? 1,600 VU, like I said. Okay, so it came back like I said it would. And that was right after the launch 1 disaster. Okay. So for the launch 1, he got the repair VU for 1,600. And he goes to the bottom of the list and he chooses the 1,000 launch Club Wars over the shoes and over the minerals again, lowering his average again by 1,000 points that he has to make up. For every 1,000 points that you screw up, you have to do a 3,000 point task. For every 1,000 points that you screw up, think about that for a minute. You have to, if you have to run a 2K average from here on out, you have to make up those points, right? That's 2 tasks at 2,500 points, or 1 task at 3,000 points. But he's even further than that right now, because he's got 4 tasks. If you were to multiply that by 2K, that would be 8,000. Okay? He's down 2,400 points on his average. That's not good. Not good at all. Not for the start. Okay? So now he gets a 3,000 upgrade building. Now, why do you think that happened? Well, it happens because he's doing all of the wrong tasks. Now, he has to cancel that now. So what do you think that's going to do to his average? He has to cancel an entire task. That takes him down 2,000 points. Now he does the deliveries to Tokyo for 1,000 points. Again, over the minerals and over the shoes. So right now what we know is he has 1 3,000 point task. He's got 1, 2, 3 tasks worth right around 1,500 points. And then he's got all of the lower ones. So really, he doesn't have a whole lot of possibility for stuff to open up here. Then you have to take in the type of task. When I asked you guys just a minute ago, why do you think that happened? He has no upgrade tasks available right now until that one just popped up. Right now, he's got repair, airport, keys, production, epic, coin. He's got a well-rounded type of task list here. It was pretty obvious that if you look at the type and the points values, that if he does these lower ones, it's going to open up stuff that he doesn't really want here. You know, essentially what you're looking for as a level 24 player, you're basically living off of war, production, factory production, airport. Okay? Then you've got the couple in between that are like, maybe a monster for 2,000, or maybe a VU repair for 2,000 and a launch here and there, stuff like that. But for the most part, you're basically depending on production, war, that's basically the majority of what you're going to be doing, right? Now, you also have to take into consideration he has no bar of experience left to even think of doing an upgrade to get him out of the situation that he's in, okay? He has to cancel that. Why does he have to cancel that? Because it's very early in the contest. It's holding a 3,000 points value, right? Now, when to cancel it? That's the key. Because right now, he is not doing too hot, okay? So he cancels the upgrade. Now he's 6 tasks in. He should have 12,000 points. He's at 7,600 points. Now he gets a glue task after he did the deliveries to Tokyo. Why do you think that happened? Why do you think he got a low premium? Because he's doing low premiums when he has high valued tasks in his list. So the probability of him getting a low premium is very high, right? I called it earlier when I said that he may get a high one that he can't do, and he may get some low ones, or he's probably going to get low ones because he has all of his high value tasks taken up. Now he makes a choice to cancel, which he's forced to do, okay? Then he decides, now again, look at what he got below that, the planks for 720. Why do you think that happened? Why do you think it didn't come in for higher? Because he has too many high value tasks sitting there. That's why. So now he's got 2 premiums that he has to clear worth low points values. Eventually, at some point, he's going to have to do those because those are going to be his rotating tasks now. Where he could have had his rotating tasks as the shoes and the minerals, got those done, and probably had higher rotating tasks. But now he's so far down on his average, it's not even funny. Okay, I mean this is not good. Okay, he's running basically a 1K average, and if you look at what he's been doing 1K assignments the whole damn time, pretty much. Okay, so he finally does the shoes. What do you think happens? Looky there. He gets a 3,000 point task. Why? Because he cleared a high task. Okay? Now, it doesn't always work to where, oh, you have to clear your highest task to get your high task. This is where people get this misconception. They think if they only do their highest task, that if they do a high task, they'll always get a higher task in its place. That is not true. You can do, like you just saw. Okay, he just canceled a 3,000 point task and he got a low task. He got a 600 glue, right? Or 720 planks or whatever it was. But the point is, anybody here ever done a high value task and got a really low task and been like, what the hell? This is why. Anybody here ever done a really low task out of nowhere? You let's say, how many people here before they found my videos? How many people were doing their tasks? They were constantly picking the highest one. They weren't getting anything good. They finally said, screw it. They picked a really low, shitty task they wouldn't normally do, like maybe a 600 saps or something. And then all of a sudden it opened up something good. That's what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you why that happens. Why that opened up something good for you. Okay? You cannot rotate your low premiums this early on when you have this many high value tasks sitting up at the top. You have to clear some of them out first. Now he's got a 720 planks, 600 glue. He's still got the 1,500 minerals at the bottom. But right now he needs to do the 3K launch. That's a fact. Okay. Then he gets an 1,100 chemical task. Okay, so right now he's got a low non-premium factory task that he better not touch. I know one damn thing on the planet, and that is do not touch that chemicals task. It's worth way too low points. It's going to open up the possibility of chemicals reappearing. It's going to take him 2 hours, but more importantly, that task almost always comes back, and it's never worth more than like 1,900 points. Okay? Don't touch it. Now, he finally does the minerals. Finally does them. All right. Then he gets a launch 2 disasters. And he does the monster. Okay? So, great. Finally, he's clearing out the monster like he should have done a long time ago. My guess is maybe the monster just got there, so I give him the benefit of the doubt on that. So that was a correct choice. Then he gets 1,650 minerals again. So he makes the correct choice and does the launch 2 because it's higher, okay? But he should be prepping the minerals. He should not have prepped those chems. He should not have even thought of prepping those chems. He should start prepping those minerals. Then he gets a monster for 2,500 points. Excellent. This is going to up his average a little bit. So he does that. Great. Okay. Then he gets a launch 2 disaster. What is going on here? 4955. Okay, it looks like he's almost in a loop. Okay, this is when I caught him. So now here we are, and we're starting to see some high premiums now because now he's starting to make correct choices, right? Now he's got an 1,800 veggies and a 1,650 minerals. Then he's got the planks and the glue, okay? So what do you think the correct choice is here? Well, it's pretty damn obvious to me. It's the veggies, right? He chooses correctly, and he tells me veggies in the messages. But more importantly, what else needs to be said here? Okay, do the veggies on a token. But that's still 200 points lower than what he wants to have for his average. And he has an obscene amount of points he needs to make up here. He should be prepping the minerals. Okay, because it's 55 minerals, it's going to take 2 rounds. So it's going to take 1 hour. So he should be doing the veggies on a token and prepping the first round of minerals. He should be starting the planks so that if he needs to collect on those, he can. And because it's only for 6 planks, he can do the 6 planks, and then he can also prep the 5 glue. Okay? So he should think about that, not putting them all in queue. If he puts them all in queue, then he's got a problem, because he could get something higher, and then now he has a whole store full of stuff. So he should put 1 plank down and deal with that when the time comes. Now, it's been a while since I've seen the bottom of his list. So let's look at the bottom of his list and see what else we can do here. He's got an 800 epic project, which that is rotatable if he was to run out of rotating tasks. So right now we're going to cross it off as something that we're going to even consider doing at the moment. The keys, the repair, the simoleons, the sugar, the Latin upgrade, all of those cross off, okay? They're all stuff you don't touch. Now, with what he has left, this is right where now we're in rotation, okay? Rotation, where you're taking premiums and doing them to try to get higher premiums, because your task list is now set up properly. You've got all of your all of his lower valued tasks are now non-premium, aside from the 2 that are rotatable, right? So that's what we want to see. Why would you choose 600 glue or 720 planks over 1400 sugar? I just explained why. It's going to open up better possibility. It can get done faster, and it's not going to completely screw you up, okay? The sugar is a major setback, even though it's higher. Now, that's where we end with him, okay? This is where we left off with him. Now, let me show you the list I was talking about with the other girl. Hold on. Okay, so this is her list. And this is something that I wanted to show you guys because it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about right now. So right now, she's in Mega. As you can see, she has 60 assignments left. Okay, so it's the very beginning of the contest. 4 days, 21 hours. She hits me up. She shows me her list. She tells me the selection she thinks is correct. She has a Expand Mountain for 2,500, planks for 2,000, war deliveries for 2,000, cargo for 1,800, monster for 1,500, and as you can see, the points start to lower. Now she's got a Launch 1 Disaster, Launch 1 War Attack, 930 minerals. She's also got a 600 smoothies. Okay. So this is a fabulous list. However, the one thing that makes it complicated is that because she has so many options, it's going to require just a little bit more thought. So what would you say she should do? And I'm not saying what choice is the correct choice, because it's very obvious here which one is the correct choice. Expand Mountain, okay? That is the correct choice. Why? Because it's the highest one. Right? First off, it's the highest one. And she wants to bank in some points. Now, what do we know about her list? She has 1, 2, 3. At the very top of her list, she has 3 premiums right around 2,000 points. So if she was to go to the bottom and try to open up the possibility of higher premiums right now, she would more than likely get lower non-premiums in its place. It is not a good idea to try to open up possibilities when you have possibilities open, right? Is it possible that she does a Launch 1 and gets a Launch 3? Yes. Is it likely? No. Okay. Is it possible that she does a Launch 1 and gets a 2,500 something or other that's premium? Yes. Is it likely? No. She needs to clear and add the points that she can first, right? Get some of these 2K tasks cleared out first before she starts rotation. But keeping those in mind based off of a lot of things, right? So right now, what do we know about what's going on in the game? There's lightning wars, so we can do wars back to back. We don't have a cooldown. So yes, she could have to wait 12 hours if she was to time it incorrectly and not be in the attack phase. But either way, war deliveries and stuff, that stuff will be available whenever she needs it because it's Lightning Club Wars. So she doesn't have to stress on the timer for that. So expand mountain area would be the very first one. It's worth 2,500 points. Now let's say, oh, she doesn't have the stuff to expand the mountain. Then you find it. Okay? You should have thought about that. If you had mountain open and you knew you were going into Mega, you should have thought about this stuff. Now, what's the very first thing that she does? Is it start hunting for mountain pieces? No. That's not the very first thing she should do. She's looking at her whole list here. She's multitasking. She's prepping. She's going to say, okay, I've got war deliveries. Let me go check my war deliveries, see if I have the stuff for those. Let me look on the war deliveries and see if I have the upcoming stuff for that stuff. Let me skip something if I need to. Let me go to my building supply store and at least get one plank making for the next X amount of minutes until I can find this mountain stuff so that I at least have something being worked on, right? Not filling the whole damn store up. Maybe she prepped planks the night before. Who knows? But either way, get the damn shit going, right? The monster for 1,500 is going to be no touchy. The cargo is going to have to be done at some point because it's worth 1,800 points. That's the most that one will be worth, but I mean, you know what? It's still sitting right around 2K. It can't sit there the whole contest at 2K, right? Right around 2K. So it has to be done at some point. So that needs to be in her mind. Okay, maybe open up her cargo and see how long she has until it leaves, just to see if she has the materials required. If it leaves within the next hour, she should just send away because she's not going to be doing this in the next hour. Okay, now, let's look at the bottom of her list. She has that launch rare war attack. She needs to start looking to see if she has the materials to launch. She needs to look at the attack phase timer. She should start considering prepping minerals. That would be a good choice. She needs to make those 3 smoothies, get those going, okay, one at a time. All of these things that she can be doing, multitasking, because she knows that these may need to be done sooner rather, than later, or later rather than sooner. Now, okay, what is her first choice here? Mountain, right, okay. So she does the mountain, okay? And she gets a gold keys for 2,000 points. Now, the question is, does she have planks done right this minute? No. So it's quick, it's fast, it's easy, get it out the way, it has to be done. So she does the keys, okay? Then she gets a repair 5 for 2, okay? Or she doesn't do the keys, she does the, what did she do here? Hang on here. She does the mountain. What did she do? More deliveries. Hang on, you guys. I'm trying to figure out what she did here. Something isn't adding up. So she had done the mountain. What did she do? She got the keys, the repair. She must have done something that was on the bottom of the list. Hang on, let me look at her notes. Give me just a second here. Okay. After reviewing her notes, now what she did makes sense. So she did the war deliveries before the planks because war was ending and she didn't know if we were going to start one back to back. She hadn't heard from me. So yes, the lightning wars would have made that a little bit more. If she had known that, she would have probably done the planks first because it was worth 40 points higher. Maybe she didn't have them on a token. I don't know. But anyway, she picked war deliveries. Either way, honestly, they're both premium and they were both worth right around the same points. So either choice technically would have been correct. She couldn't really have went wrong there. Even the keys, honestly, they're all worth right around the same points. You could really do any one of those and be fine. Same with the disaster, because all of these, the reason that I would say not to do the keys or the disasters first would be because they're non-premium, and you open up the possibility of a premium if you do the deliveries or the planks. But either way, I mean, it really depends on what's going on in your game. If she's going for quick, fast, and easy, maybe she had a bunch of stuff in queue. Maybe we weren't in war, you know, whatever the case may be, I don't know. But the point is, in this particular instance, after looking at her notes, she did the war deliveries because she didn't know if we were going to be doing the war back-to-back or not. So that was the correct choice, okay? Now, if she would have done keys, I would not have said that it was incorrect either, because of the points values, and maybe, like I said, depending on what's going on in your game, this is going to have a huge impact on your choices. If your monster is 2,500 points and it's 2 days out, I mean, you can only do so much, you know what I mean? You have to work around that. Now, let's go further on. So she gets a 58. So she does the planks, okay? And she gets an expand beach for 2,500. So this is the obvious next choice, right? It's going to increase her average, and it's quick, and she can get it done. So beach would have been her next choice. Then she gets bricks for 2,100. Now, this would be her next choice, right? It's the highest, it's the premium, it's great, excellent, good to go. Okay, now, she gets chems. No. Prep chems, yes. Because of their points value only. Am I telling her to prep the chemicals? If they were lower than 1,500, if they were 1,500 or lower, I would not even have her dealing with them at all. Especially this early in the contest. Because of the fact that they could just keep coming back. They could put her into a loop. They could just be a nothing but a problem. So because they're 1,800 points, because it was close to her bedtime, I said go ahead and start prepping the chemicals. Okay, now she has a choice between repair or keys. Now, I said keys because usually you can get the keys done quicker than the repair depending on your current situation. Depending on how upgraded your VU tower is, if you have any uncollected keys from the past, and blah, blah, blah. So I said go ahead and do the keys, keeping in mind that she may need to do the cargo or the repair. So, and then at this point, hang on. So at this point, she does the keys, and then she ended up running out of VU. So I helped her out with some VU, and we were able to get her going. But the point is, the whole point in me even pulling up her task list here, it shows greatly how your choices are going to affect exactly what happens. So here, back at the beginning, when I said, look at her average compared to his average, right? They both had the same general thing going on. They had high value tasks and low premiums. He rotated his low premiums way too early, causing him to get lower value tasks or high non-premiums. And so if he would have done stuff differently, if he would have picked the higher tasks in his list, his average would not be low, and he would not be sitting there looking at a list that has a bunch of high value tasks that he's not doing. So here's my question. What good does it do you if you're rotating out low premiums to get high premiums when you have high premiums you're not doing? Kind of see where I'm going with that? So his thought process was rotate these out to get better options, but he's not doing the options that are better right now when he has them. That's my point. He had high premiums, and he wasn't doing them. You can only have so many high premiums. You can't have a full list of high premiums. So if you already have some there, why are you rotating this early? You're screwing yourself up big time. Now, if he had 3 rotatable tasks and everything else was non-premium, then he would make his selection in that points range. Okay? But you have to clear up some of those 2K tasks first. Try not to have more than 2K tasks in your list that you cannot do. So usually the ones that you have to leave sit are the expansion, the land expansion, okay? And sometimes the monster has to be left sit for a couple of days until he comes around or whatever. But anything other than that, I mean, you want to try not to leave that stuff sit. This is why you want to get those expansions done before you get to Mega, because they end up sitting in your list. Now, the third person that I'm training, okay, he made huge mistakes, huge mistakes. I'm going to show you guys real quick what he did, and then we're going to end this video. Okay, so right here, this is right where we're at with him. So it's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see, but I had to be able to read what he wrote. Okay, so it says, this is my full list now. In this case, I should pick the paint task first, right? Question mark. Or do the earn simoleons task? Question mark. First off, what? That's where I'm confused. This is where I get frustrated. I'm trying to figure out why he came to that conclusion. Now, we're going to look at the tasks that he's talking about and see what he's doing. He has done 4 tasks. He has 5 days left, so it's the very beginning of the contest. He has over a 2K average, okay? Well over a 2K average. He has a repair disasters for 2,000 points. He has a 3,600 upgrade that needs to get the hell off his list. And he has a paint task worth 1,080, launch common war attack for 800, and the rest are non-touchable. Okay, the monster, the upgrade, the epic, no touchy. Okay, the cargo, don't touch. The saps may need rotated out eventually. The common war attack may need rotated out when the time comes. Okay, so back up to the top of the list where all the points are sitting. He's got a 1,000 paint task. Well, we already know that that would not be chosen over the 2,000 VU repair because, look, the 2,000 VU repair, right? It's holding a 2,000 points value. So, why did he pick coins? In Mega, why? Why would you pick coins over repair? Why would you pick coins over canceling? Why would you pick coins over paint? Why would you ever pick coins? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what is going on in his head to make him think that that is the right choice. Why would you pick paint over repair when it's 900 points higher and it's holding a 2,000 points value? Why would you pick paint when you have a 3,600 points upgrade task sitting there at the beginning of the contest? What's the correct choice here? He's up on his average. He's got a 3,600 upgrade taking up a very good placement. He needs to cancel that upgrade, okay? So CPT comes in and he says, we never touch those, especially this early. It's a huge waste right now. The only time I would consider it if it's at the end of the contest, I have a few tickets left and need points badly, and the rest really sucks. Okay, so then he says, as for the tokens, he answers his question on that, and then he says, well, so should I pick the paint? And then CPT comes in and he says, no, you should cancel. Okay, so that was correct. And he got a 1,560 medal task for that. Okay, so then CPT comes in and tells, well, actually, CPT didn't even talk to him at that point. So he does the medal and he gets paint or tape for 1920. This is the task after medal, which I know I picked wrong task. I should have done the repair disasters first, and luckily I have tape prep first before CoM. So I'm going to do the repair disaster zone first. Okay. So he does the repair. So right here he made a wrong choice. He should have done the repair before the medal. And even if he didn't, he should have done the tape before the repair, right? Even though it's only 80 points less, he said he had it done. And it's opening up a premium. Whereas the VU repair is just simply clearing out a points value off the list. So it's opening up the possibility of that one reoccurring, but more importantly, they're both right around the same amount of points, right? So he should have done the tape first. Now, okay. So, okay, here he gets an expansion city. So right here, he says it gives me this. Should I cancel it, right? Because I don't have enough dozers. This is where I'm ready to rip my hair out. Okay. Going back to what I've said 3 million times, what do we know about this task? This is where I start to get really annoyed and frustrated. Like, why am I even helping people if they're not listening to me? What do we know about the dozer task? It's going to come right back. It's always going to be worth 2,000 points. Never more, never less. Why would you cancel it if it's going to come right back? Why would you cancel it when you have a 1,920 task that you can do that's premium? So you don't have enough dozer. So your thought process is to cancel it so that that task can come back again. Worth 2,000 points. Now you've just wasted one whole task. It will come back. And when it does, it'll be worth the same amount of points. I've said this. I don't know how many times I've said this. In this video alone, I've said this probably like 5 times. And this is where I start to wonder, are people even listening to me? Are they reading the Contest of Mayors guide? This, with the coins question, the how many tokens can you have question, and the expansion cancellation question, those 3 things are things that I've talked about repeatedly. Like almost to the point of I don't even know how many times I could say it. Like almost like Rick and Morty, like Morty. It's gotten that bad. Okay. Why are people not hearing me? You know what I'm saying? This is where I get frustrated. No, you do not cancel. So if you're one of those people that did not hear me the first 3 billion times, please listen to me. You do not touch this task in Mega if you can't complete it, okay? If you can complete it, then it's a quick 2,000 points. Get it done, get it out the way. It's going to come back, but either way, I mean, it was still 2,000 points you just got, right? Saying that you didn't have anything higher. Now, so he does the tape like I instruct him to do, okay? Now, he gets a expand beach for 2,500. After beach, he gets the rolls for 2,400. Okay, so he starts producing the rolls. Now he gets deliveries to London for 3,000. Does that. Okay, now here we are with the repair. Then he says, after London deliveries is this, which should I choose? Okay, I asked what's at the bottom of his list. He sends me his list. And I tell him to do the repair because it's holding a 2,000 points value. Because he really has nothing else on his list at the current moment aside from he had the repair for 2,000, expand for 2,000, which he can't touch. So that's already holding a 2,000 points value. He has that paint that he can rotate, but we're going to wait until he clears out another high point task real quick. And then he's got a couple of points a couple of tasks he can rotate on the bottom. Okay, now he gets this. This is a 1,760 text task. I tell him to do the paint and see what happens. We're going to wait to see what happens before I tell him to prep the textiles, because if he gets, let's say, a minerals or a wood or whatever, then he's going to have to wait for all that to clear out. Now, I would like to not have to clear this text task, but more than likely he's going to have to because of its points value. Okay, so he says I have my paints ready, my saps ready. We did that. Brown text. Okay, I tell him to do paint, and I asked him why. He says because it's quicker. Well, no, that's not really the only reason why. There's several reasons why. Okay. So now he gets an upgrade Paris, which he needs to cancel. This was the last I had spoke to him. Which one should I cancel? This is a task after I got paint. I should cancel, right? Yes, you should cancel. So he gets a delivery to London, which I'm assuming he did. Okay. Okay. Good, good. Now here's that minerals task I was talking about he might get. Hopefully he did not. Okay. So now he needs to minerals or brown text. Okay, this right here, obvious to me. Minerals. Oh, let me say this before he screws up. Okay. To me, this is an obvious situation. Minerals sits at, where is his list? 1680. So it's just 100 points lower. However, textiles, he can only make 40 at a time. So that is going to take him 6 hours to do. Whereas the minerals is going to take him 1 hour. Why would he do the textiles? I don't know. I have no idea. I can't answer that. That is what I'm talking about. This is what you need to be able to do. Get the process of elimination out here and say, okay, look, in this instance, this is just right around the same amount of points. This is why we held off on prepping the text, just because, here's the thing. If we had a situation where I knew he was going to be busy for the next 2 or 3 hours, I would have had him prep the textiles. But because I knew that he was going to be able to get those tasks done quickly, I wanted him to wait just in case. Just in case. And sure as shit, it came up. So there you have it. Okay, hopefully this stuff helps you guys out. I honestly, a lot of it is people are listening to my videos. They're not hearing what I'm saying. They're coming to me with questions, or they're struggling, or they're needing help, or whatever. And what it really comes down to is everything that you need to know doesn't need to be said in a new video. It's already been said. You just got to listen. You got to listen and learn. And people think, oh, well, I watched that video, and yeah, it's like they want me to say something I haven't said yet to make it click. And I'm trying. I'm trying really hard, but what I'm frustrated with is I'm over here trying to think of something new to say to make it click, and you can't even figure out the simple concept of not canceling a dozer task in Mega. If you're not hearing me on that, how the hell are you going to hear me on anything else? So please pay attention. Listen to what I have to say. Don't waste my time, because I don't mind questions. Okay, I expect questions. I expect people have problems. I expect people, this is not easy stuff to do. It's really not. But you get the hang of it. You know, it starts to get easier. And it helps if you really pay attention and listen to what I'm saying. Don't skip forward over my videos. Don't just assume you know what's going on. Don't just jump ahead and hear half of what I have to say and tune in and out on what you want to hear. Okay? Pay attention. This is already an hour and like 8 minutes long or more. So I'm going to go ahead, get this uploaded. Hopefully it helps you guys. Let me know in the comments or on Facebook or Messenger or whatever if this was helpful, if you need more help, what's going on. If you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Hit that like and subscribe button.